Hi, Mary Rafferty here. So there's somebody in your life that you're finding difficult to be around. Perhaps it's their behavior, how they're interacting with you or how they're interacting with others. Perhaps it's somebody that you manage whose performance is below what's expected. Perhaps it's your manager and you don't like how they're treating you or interacting with you. And you're thinking, I need to say something about this to them. I need to raise this issue. I need to have some sort of a conversation with them. And yet you haven't done it. You're kind of thinking, oh, what will I say? I'm not sure how I'll say it. So when people come to me for coaching, they're saying, well, what would be the right way of saying this? Have you got any tips? How might I phrase this in a way that's constructive, etc.? And the longer I'm doing this work, the more I realize it's never actually about that. And I can give them lots of ideas and tips on how to be constructive and how to listen and how to ask good questions. But what's stopping people in these situations, what's stopping you, if you've got a difficult conversation and somebody you have to raise something with, or you're thinking somebody's behavior that you should raise it with them and you're kind of thinking, I don't know about that. What's actually stopping you is what I call the noise in our own heads about this situation. And by that I mean it's the story we're telling ourselves. First of all, perhaps about them. They're going to say this, they're going to do that, then they're going to, and the whole thing's going to get worse and it's all going to blow up. And perhaps also a story about ourselves. Oh, I'm not this kind of person. I'm not that kind of person. Maybe it's a fear story in some situations. Maybe it's I'm just so frustrated story. I just haven't got the energy. But there's some kind of story going on that we're telling ourselves about them, about ourselves. And it's like we put this story almost into a freeze frame. And every time then we think about the person and the situation, this frozen frame comes up of, us in our weariness or frustration or fear, and them in their some sort of intimidating behavior that we've painted onto them that they're going to exhibit. And that stops us. And really what we need to do in this situation is start to become aware, just become aware of what is the noise in my head about this situation and this person. What picture am I painting about what might happen? What fears are coming up? And I don't mean fears in a kind of, oh my gosh, they're going to shout at me and, oh dear, I'll be all timid. Even fears of, this is going to make the situation worse. Perhaps, I'm not saying those are right or wrong. Of course, they may be based on really realistic things that have happened in the past. The problem with these kind of fears and stories that we tell ourselves about what's going to happen is that they get in the way then of being in the reality of the situation here and now in this moment. And whether it's here and now in this moment of saying, something, I've actually got to figure out how to tackle this, not engaging anymore with the old story and saying, right, I'm going to see, can I come up with some ideas about how to do this? And it might also be in the situation itself, we're with that person, and then they do start to engage in this behavior. Oh, they're raising their voice and they're getting really angry. Oh, we go into the fear again. Instead of, hello, let's just be really present to what's coming up from this person in this moment and see, is there a way we can work with that? See, is there a way we can stay connected and connect with them in that situation and work through the anger and the fear that's coming up for them, because that's what's going on for them. If they're overreacting, you can be sure there's some sort of insecure thinking going on for them, and try and create a constructive interaction with this person, a conversation that does an outcome that leads to better things for both you and this other person in terms of the working relationship. So rather than trying to figure out, well, what am I going to say? Where am I going to say? Just stop for a moment and reflect on, well, what's the kind of the noise, the story, the frozenness that's already in my head that might be getting in the way of going further with this, of taking the next step. You might be sitting down and thinking, well, what might be the key things I'd like them to understand? It might be arranging a meeting with them. Or it might even be, first of all, just thinking about, well, what could they say about me that's actually making me feel a bit fearful or making me feel a bit under pressure? And just start thinking in that direction and putting your intentions towards engaging, going out there, saying what you need to say, moving past that story and not listening to that story. And if I can be of any help in this conversation, please get in touch. Thanks for watching.